You can put all your shots. There I go with shots.
Here we go.
There we go.
I'm sorry, everything is a shot. You got to take a shot. So that means you got to take a shot. If you have something wrong, just cheers.
Hopefully you do. So anytime you take one of those,
most people watch
tests
this at 12 o'clock at night, or 1 in the morning. So yeah, they probably got something around.
Yeah, and listening to us, probably going to need one.
They're probably asleep by now. Welcome back to the Hot Mix, an InstroTek podcast. I'm Maurice.
And I'm not Anthony.
Yes, today we have Brian O'Toole here with us. Anthony's enjoying a little R&R with his family out on the coast, probably under a Shibumi somewhere. Remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. The flapper.
This flapper, yeah.
So he's got some SPF 100 for that dome of his.
I know. He doesn't want to blind anybody out there at the beach. So Anthony, enjoy your time off. But today we are talking all about nuclear gauges, in particular the Xplorer 3500 and the Xplorer 2. We're kind of going to go through a little history of how these came to be, a little bit about what makes them so special, and what really brings out this brand as the upcoming brand in the nuclear gauge market and these products, really. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. So let's talk a little bit about how the nuclear gauge came to be. Okay. Back, way back in 1950-something, around the time you were born. Yeah. Okay, you got me. Way back. They were using nuclear technology in a lot of different industries. They were using it in the agriculture industry, in the medical industry, in the petrochem industry, just to measure, take different measurements. And construction wasn't far behind. They needed a fast way to measure soil density and moisture to be able to do the work they do in construction areas. And basically, they figured out that with this product, they could do a non-destructive test to be able to put a source in the ground, measure the density by how much radiation it's getting, and then a moisture source that measures the hydrogen or water in the soil, and then you got your moisture reading. So these products came to be from that, and pioneered by a company back then, by a couple different companies. Right? Yeah, a couple different companies. But one of our favorites, CPN, or
Campbell Pacific Nuclear.
Yeah, there you go, Campbell Pacific Nuclear.
Located in sunny California.
Sunny California. And Campbell Pacific Nuclear, InstroTek purchased back in 2008. We acquired Campbell, and those products are still with us. We still are manufacturing the CPN, the MC1, MC3, which are incredibly popular. Probably one of the most popular gauges around the world for a while, and they're still with us. And we have some features and benefit sheets that we'll show you, and a couple pictures. Some old pictures of what they look like. And it was funny, Brian. I was looking at the old pictures, and it literally was a source rod, which I believe is a source rod, but it was just a source rod that I think just stuck in the ground. And basically, they didn't have much protection.
Spray and pray.
So they were just kind of using this technology, probably being as careful as they knew how to be at that point.
A little bit less regulation back then.
A little bit less, yeah. A little bit in the 60s probably so. Everybody's just high and happy. So, and then now we bring it to these gauges today, which have so much technology, super safe. Yeah, you can use these. Need a little bit of training and then some regulatory, but really where we've come from then to today is just leaps and bounds.
Absolutely. Excellent. Well, I can go through if you want and talk a little bit about how they're. Do you want?
I want.
If you
Let's
want,
go.
you get. All right.
Let's do it.
So these are used on construction sites. So if you've ever driven by where the new Walmart's coming in your town and they've got that whole area leveled out and graded out, or if you're driving through a construction zone and they're paving a new asphalt road, please slow down and be safe. Protect the workers. Yes. But if you're going through those places, you might see these, and if you've never seen one of these before, take a look for them, but keep your eyes on the road most of the time.
Yes.
But so you're going to find these at both of those places.
Right.
So what they're doing is trying to find the moisture and the density in the soils.
Right.
So those inputs are critical when building and construction is going on.
Absolutely.
So they got to have that information, and these make the readings quick and easy. So there's two sources in the gauges, two radioactive sources.
Right.
One is in the base of this rod right here.
Yeah.
What you would do is a technician would take this out, pound a small hole in the ground, lower that source down in, and then there's detector tubes inside the base of the gauge to measure the counts.
And what do they take, Brian? They take
shots. Oh, a technician would take a shot. Cheers. Cheers. It's never too early for that.
By the way, this is just not shots.
Yeah, it's Tito's. It's not Grey Goose. So what they would do, they would take a test. The information would be collected by the tubes inside the gauge, and then that, through the power of a lot of smarter people than we are, they take the readings and then they get the density and the moisture, and that goes to back to the office so they can make real-time adjustments if they need to, whether in asphalt paving or on construction sites.
Yeah, absolutely. A critical part of the construction process, right? Making sure that the ground you're building on is firm and ready for the structure.
Yeah.
And done way more efficiently than what they did back in the 50s and before these came out, which was taken back to the lab, right?
You'd have to take a physical sample, so these obviously don't disrupt the sites very much.
Non-destructive.
Right, so they'd have to physically take samples and take them back to the lab, which takes time, takes however long it takes to get back there, run the test, get the results back. So
we're talking about
it's much more efficient.
Something that would take maybe a couple days to get the results for, condensed down to maybe a couple hours now. By the time you get out there, take all your tests, and can do a whole field in a matter of maybe hours instead of days.
Right.
So man, they really upped the construction project timeline when these first got introduced.
Yeah.
And that's why they're pervasive now throughout the world.
Yeah.
Not just here in the US or North America, really everywhere on the world, you can find these gauges. Anybody that accepts nuclear in the government, you can find these products being sold and used, and that's why they're so great for our industry and what we do. We do have a lot of experts here at InstroTek that know these products incredibly well, right from our president, who's a nuclear engineer, and all the way down to our R&D team that puts so much time and effort into making these a quality product.
Right. InstroTek started in 1997.
Yes.
Right. So what's the history on these two?
Yeah. So I was actually around when these gauges came out. Believe it or not. Yeah, I'm pretty old.
The 1950s.
Yeah, the 1950s.
You were here for the whole thing.
I was here for the whole shebang, the whole shaboomy. And these products actually, the Xplorer 3500 came out in 2006, and it came by us really knowing. Like we said, the president of InstroTek is a nuclear engineer, really knowing, and we had our vice president was a physicist, so you put those two together in a room and you never know what's going to happen. But they came up, we were servicing a lot of these gauges, right, calibrating a lot of the other brands that are out there, and we needed our own parts to be able to service them a little bit quicker. We started developing our own parts, and then eventually we came to the Xplorer 3500 in 2006. And I was here for the launch of that. It was awesome. It was great to finally have our own product. Say, hey, world, here we are. We know you guys use these, and here's one of the best. And we put a lot of thought and time into the quality of the product to make sure that it always worked when a customer took it out of their holding bay and out into the field. And then the Xplorer 2, you were here for.
I was.
Right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So you've been around for a little bit. This one came out in
2019.
Okay, good test. 2019, and it just upped the game. Really, it just became a upgraded version of the Xplorer 3500.
Right.
So you know these products really well. Tell us a little bit about what makes them so good and what are some of the benefits.
Well, we talk about the features of it for sure. Like the Xplorer 3500 came out in 2006. It's your base model gauge. It does everything that you need to and everything that the technicians and our customers need to report back to their folks so they get paid for using them. So base model, steering wheel, tires, no power windows on this bad boy.
Simple, easy to use, and I think we used that. I think that was when I was around in 2006 as a young man. We used that. It was simple to own, simple to use, simple everything. So that was one of the tangles because we wanted to make a super simple gauge that was very high value for the customer, and obviously that's what we came up with, and we still have it today. Hasn't changed too much since then.
Nope.
But great value gauge.
Right.
And then
2019 Xplorer 2.
Xplorer 2, we brought this along. We said, we're going to up it. We're going to make this kind of our premier brand, our premier gauge. And we added a huge LCD so you can see it. The old guy like me needs glasses nowadays all the time. Large LCD, can't see this one, can see this one in the sunlight, no matter what. Great LCD. We got a USB here to download all your data. Just one button, boom, you get all your data from your day's work. You can program these. You can put projects in them. It's got Bluetooth. It's got an app, and it's got a tracking device. All of this is to make you
NukeTrack.
But all of this is to make you more efficient in the field, right? To make it easier for you to have this gauge. Have it out in the field, making money for your company if you're in the soils and geotechnical industry.
And you talked about making it more efficient too. So we also have an Android and an iOS app. The iOS app is in development, soon to be released.
Yeah, very soon to be released.
So
absolutely.
This will connect directly to the Xplorer 2, either your tablet or your phone. You can put all your shots. There I go with shots.
Shots, here we go.
There we go.
I'm sorry, everything is a shot. You got to take a shot. So that means you got to take a shot. If you have something wrong, just cheers.
Hopefully you do. So anytime you take one of those
Most people watch
tests,
this at 12 o'clock at night or, 1 in the morning. So yeah, they probably got something around.
yeah, and listening to us, probably going to need one.
They're probably asleep by now.
So with the app, you get direct information from the gauge to your tablet, and then you can email that off. You can print reports, et cetera. So, and when we talked about the efficiency of from where the testing came to where it is now, and then where it's going, definitely that's a way to make sure that information gets back to the office quickly. You can make changes, et cetera. Anything.
The Bluetooth has been a game changer, I think, for this gauge with the app. Be able to create reports around the app, take pictures of the site. If there's something kind of off about the site or was really wet, you can take a picture of the app, add it to your test, to that particular test, and then email that off to your office, like you said.
Yeah.
So really awesome. Just really a lot of game changers. You can also tell the keypad is a little different. We added a number keypad on the side, a little bit different styling than most gauges, but works really, really well. And there's just so many more benefits and features that we could talk about, but again, don't want to put you to sleep.
Yeah, alphanumeric, right? So you can store your shot data, anything you want in there.
Yeah, and you can program even with your phone with that app.
I did it again.
So,
sorry, one more time, I said it.
Oh, you said shots.
All right.
Jeez. I love shots.
And talking about NukeTrack too, I know I said it a little bit earlier, but we have an integrated tracking device that you can add to the gauges, and what that does is it allows for real-time tracking for the radiation safety officer at the office or the person at the office that's in charge of the gauge fleet to look and say, okay, where are my gauges right now? So it comes, you can either get an app on your phone, and that's both iOS and Android, and the PC. Downloadable app as well.
And we're going to throw up some of the views from the screenshots and actual live pictures of some of our people that have these out there and live shot. But the cool thing about NukeTrack is that you can track your asset and know exactly where it is. Real time. You can even see how fast it's going, because if it's the back of a truck, not that these would be flying, but if it's the back of a truck, you can actually see how fast the truck is moving. Just make sure everybody's safe, and if anything happens, you know exactly where your gauge is. It gets taken from back of the pickup truck, or maybe
somebody steals the truck.
Someone takes the truck. That has happened, and it immediately, as soon as your technician knows the gauge is missing, boom, he can be on the phone. You know exactly where the gauge. And again, we've upped the game with that. InstroTek was one of the first companies to introduce that type of tracking, and we're really proud that it works so well. You don't even have to plug it in. You just plug in the gauge, charge it through the gauge, right? So
it charges when the gauge is on a charger, or it charges about a couple times a day. It wakes up and charges with the battery.
That's how we charge Brian around here, either on the gauge or just plug him in and he goes.
Sometimes I need a defibrillator.
Sometimes he needs a little more of a shock.
That's right.
Beyond that, beyond the physical product,
the importance of service and support. So InstroTek has we have 6 offices across the country, 5 of which do service and support and calibration work for the gauges. So not only do we calibrate the InstroTek gauges, we calibrate all different types of gauges, and the people in the areas that we have offices know our folks. They answer the phones. If you call into the home office here, someone always going to answer the phone here. If you're having a gauge problem out in the field, we do everything we can to try to keep your gauges out in the field working instead of having to come in for service. So the commitment to service and support that has been
huge by us,
throughout the company.
It's part of what you're buying when you get an InstroTek gauge. Really, it is, because we've put a lot of time and effort to making sure our network, our offices, our partners are top notch, and that you're really going to get supported when you purchase one of these pieces of equipment for your laboratory, and are able to get the support when you need it.
What about our distributors and our service? Speaking of support, not only from us, but
all over the world. We have a network of people that have been brought in, showing exactly how this gauge is manufactured, calibrated, and the highest quality control on this product. And I think that's what's driving the popularity of this. You're going to see these out there in the job site. Hopefully next time you take a look and you'll see the green gauge out there, or the green case, and it's an InstroTek product that is high quality, and I think that's what people want for that type of purpose.
And we made it real easy for these gauges to be serviced at any of the service centers for our distributors, to just calibration centers across the country. They call in, they order parts from us. We make it easy to work with us with the gauges. So ultimately, our end goal is to make sure these gauges, if purchased, are in use and not down. So
and take it from the expert. I mean, this guy knows a lot about the gauges, and he has been with these products almost since inception. And if you need help we are happy to tell you a little bit more. So yeah, if you are interested in either of these products and want to know more, or maybe just new to the industry and need to find out what a nuclear gauge does, give us a call. We have plenty of information we can share with you and let you know more about the nuclear gauge, or even how to purchase one, what the process is, because there is a little bit of a regulatory since it is a nuclear product. But with that said, I just want to thank Brian O'Toole again for joining us today on the Hot Mix. I know it's about that time, Brian, to maybe have another shot, or another drink of our coffee is what I was going to say. But yeah, another shot, sure, why not? And really appreciate you stepping in. I know you had some big shoes to fill and a big hat too.
Yeah.
So cheers to that, Brian.
Amen.
And finally, just remember to always keep it hot.
Keep it real.
Keep it real hot.